Alright, so this should be the last video of the project. What we need to do, what we have left, is to create some kind of access control. So when we're not logged in, we don't want this button to show. And not just the button, but we don't want to be able to access this page either. Okay, so if we're not logged in and we go to this page, we should be redirected to just the shares page. Alright, so let's start with the button because that's really easy. All we have to do is go into the view. So shares index, and where we have the button right here, we're just going to do a simple if statement. Okay, so we're going to say if is set session is logged in, then we want the button to show, and then we're going to end it here. Alright, so let's see what that does. Okay, so now we can't see the button. Now if we go to shares, if we go to shares/add, it still brings us to the form, which we don't want. So let's go to the shares controller, and in add, what we'll do is go above this, and then we're going to say if, we'll say if is set session is logged in. Actually, we want, you know what, let's put an exclamation here, because if they're not logged in, then we want to redirect them. So we'll say header location, and we're going to put in our root URL, and let's bring them to shares. Alright, so let's see what that does. Okay, we're not logged in. Let's reload, and we get redirected. Okay, so when we now can't go to our add page. So let's log in, and we should be able to see that stuff if we are logged in. Okay, so we can see the button, click that, brings us to the share page. Alright, so that's good. We have our access control. Now what we want to do is we want to create a messages class that will allow us to display nicely formatted alert messages. Alright, so let's go to classes, and we're going to say new file, and this is going to be called messages.php. Okay, just like every other class, we're going to define it. It's not going to extend anything, and we're going to have a static function called setMessage. Okay, so public static function setMessage. Okay, and you can see that this project, although I mean the functionality, there's not much to it, but we're using every aspect of object-oriented programming that we've gone over. We have an abstract class, we have static methods, static properties, all that stuff is involved in this project. So what we want to do is, this is going to take in two things. It's going to take in text and type. Okay, type means if it's an error or a success message. Alright, so let's say if type is equal to error, then we're going to set a session variable. Okay, we're going to say session error message, and that's going to be equal to whatever the text that is passed in. Alright, and then we're going to have an else. I'll copy that, and then this is going to be a success message. Okay, so that's to set it. Now we also need a function to display it, so we're going to say public static function display. All right, and we're just going to check to see if these are set. So if is set, session error message, then we're going to echo a div. Okay, it's going to have a class equals alert and alert danger. That's going to make it red. Okay, these are bootstrap classes. Then we just want to concatenate on our session error message. Okay, then we need the ending div. And that should do it. All right, and once we output the message, we want to unset the error message. Okay, so unset. And we'll pass in session error message. Okay, so that'll give us our error message. Let's copy this, and we're going to do the same thing for the success message. Okay, except now we're going to turn alert danger into alert success, and then this here will be success message, and this. All right, so we'll save that. So now our message class is all set. Now let's go where we actually want to output this. So if we go to, let's say, models user, and down here we just echo out incorrect login, which isn't very nice looking. All right, because if we try, for one thing, it's way up here above the nav bar, which we don't want, and it's just ugly looking. So we want it to show up right here and be nicely formatted. All right. Actually, before we can use it, we have to include it in our index. So let's go there first. Okay, and let's put this, we'll put it up at the top. All right. And now we should be able to replace this with messages. Remember, it's static, so we don't have to instantiate it. We can just call set message. All right, so set message incorrect login, and then we want to pass in the type, which is going to be an error. All right, so that's going to set it, but we still need to display it. So let's go to main.php, and we'll go right above where we are requiring the view, and we'll say PHP messages display. All right, so that should work. Let's go to login and just put in anything, and there's our message. Okay, so we can set a message in any situation. All right, so for instance, you may want some validation. If we go to register, because right now we can just register just blank fields. So if we go to models, user, and then register, and we can just do a quick test here. So we'll say if post name is equal to nothing. Okay, and then we'll just say or, and then we'll change this to email, change this to password, and then we'll do our message output, which, let me see, I'll grab from right here. And then we can say, please fill in all fields. All right, so let's go register. Oh, we have to do it after it's submitted, so let's just grab that and then bring it down here. Okay, so if we just submit, oh, that shouldn't have worked. Let's see. Post equals nothing, or oh, we get a return, because right now we should have just an empty. Yeah, see, we don't want that. We don't want that to happen. So let's try it again and register. There we go. Okay, so now it returns, so it's not going to keep going. Okay, you can see that it's not there. Okay, so we probably want to do the same thing with the shares. Okay, if we go to models, shares, and you want to go right here, and instead of this stuff, you want to check for title, body, and link. Alright, so now if we log in, and we go to add a share and submit, fill in all fields. Okay, so now we even have some validation. So that's going to be it for this project. Like I said, the functionality isn't huge, but we got to a lot of code, and we actually created our own custom model view controller framework, which is pretty big. Alright, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this project, this course, and that's it.